Alrighty, well, I hope you boys and girls are ready. I know I am. We've been waiting on this for a long time coming. The old girl has been tired in her old age. We just looked at the odometer on her. It's got 7,080 some miles or something like that on it. So she's getting up there in her old age. But I'm going to give a big shout out to RPM for hooking us up on some goodies for the old girl. And then Ibex. Super excited to start partnering up with those guys. They got me hooked up with a full turbo kit. It's got I believe a FP green turbo. Got one of their plastic fabricated, I think it's a 3D printed intake plenum. So we won't be exploding that with the newfound pressures inside of things. And converting the car over to a 21 wiring harness so I can run the goodies, the custom tunable ECU. Super excited. It's gonna have a flex fuel sensor in it so we can put her on the big power and run some E85 if we want to. So big shout out to Ibex and RPM, killing it as always. And be sure to stay tuned. Hopefully we're gonna have some time to get some more videos edited for you guys. Got a couple more from S'more, and we went down to Windrock, so we're gonna have a few from there. Then you're gonna get to see the garage video. Hopefully get to see this old girl turned up. I am ready for it. This thing has been a dog for a long time. So thanks to Ibex and RPM, there ain't gonna be no more. See if we can take this old girl to the top. Let's go. Well, I figured we'd give you a little progress report. We have pretty well got her tore apart. Found some unexpected carnage, but probably, I guess, acceptable carnage. Not real sure the plan of action that we're going to take next to fix this carnage, but it's not real great. I know there's a few people out there that make some support braces for some stuff, but I'm not too sure if there's anything left to make or to bolt to that's going to support. So we might have to do some investigation here, but I know this one has been broke for quite a long while. That's minor details, but in the instance of taking everything apart, you can see that we found that it cracked. This bolt is broke off inside the motor. We'll just put that little feller back in there in its home. That one there is extremely loose, so the motor was moving in between it and the transmission. So we're gonna have to get a new motor mount for sure. I think that's fixable and should be okay. Probably get that bolt out, maybe have to tap hole. Not too big a deal. But the ear is broke off for this clutch side. The ear is broke off for the clutch box down here. And we got the wiring harness kind of pulled out of the way. This stuff here's a mess. It's gonna get redone. And then we found the transmission mount is also broken off of the transmission in 2 spots. So she's definitely had a rough life. She's been wheel hopped, jumped, rolled, all the other good stuff. Everyone always asks, how does this thing just keep going? It just lives. Well, it's because a lot of things like this go on that never really gets shown, and I work on the thing non-stop pretty much. And then I found this little issue over here where the factory Can-Am tube is cracked in half. So we'll have to do some investigation on that and probably fix that dude. I say it's cracked the little cheap Chinese gusset plate that they got there. So probably gonna have to see about maybe replacing this down tube or slugging it or doing something there. So lovely, more work for me. But got the turbo off. It's not in as bad a shape as I thought it was gonna be. It's definitely not in the greatest of shape of turbos, but you can kind kind of just gonna get a little light. All right, I can get you some light on the old situation here. So you see, it's had some foul play in there. It ain't nothing too crazy. It's definitely got a little oil blow by. That thing was starting to smoke a little bit, you know, all the good stuff. It does have a little play in it. You probably can't see because I'm doing one-handed, but it does have a little play. Oh yeah, yeah, good stuff. You can kind of see the gap there, shrink and grow. It's not completely junk, but it was definitely getting tired. I did run a leak down test on it, and the bottom end is all factory, 7,000 miles on it. It does have a Whalen reman head on it. Just ran a leak down test on it. All of it's like 15 to 18% at 40 or 50 psi, and then it goes up from there. So engine's perfectly healthy, no issues there. Got to figure out some new motor mounts and whatnot, and maybe figure out something for a transmission mount. I do have I did pick up a spare transmission that supposedly has all neutrals. I believe it's the shifting forks has came apart in it or something. The guy told me that the transmission is full of metal, so they thought it was junk. So they pulled it out and swapped it with a new one. Didn't know anything about it. But it does have all the good pieces that I need, like mount there. So maybe take that piece off and then maybe do some investigation and see whether I put that transmission in it so it has good mounting holes or not. I'm not sure how that situation is going to play out yet, but we'll get something figured out for it and get some good stuff to go back in it. Other than that, just keep pulling this thing apart. You tear the rest of the interior out of it now and get the front half of the wiring harness out of it. So I got the engine harness itself out. And now I get to tackle taking all the interior that I just put in it back out and get the wiring harness changed in it. But like I said, I'm going to cut that new harness apart and get rid of all the junk that I don't need, because let me tell you, it is a mess for all the stuff that's on one of these things. Let's see if I can drag it out here and show you. So yeah, pretty much all of that is a disaster. Pretty much that whole plug I'm not going to use, other than the fan wire, which is right there. That's going to get routed and go to the back because I have a radiator in the rear. Pretty much everything is going to be no good. I think one of these is for the gauge cluster. I think it's one of these. But then pretty much a gauge cluster, a 4-wheel drive switch is the only thing I need out of it. Fan, 4-wheel drive, and gauge cluster, and then your instrument selector thing, and then the key. So minus that, all that crap's gonna go away. So we'll hopefully get that thing started tearing apart, and hopefully it starts and runs when we get all done. That'd be real nice. And let's see what we get into next. Come on. Well, we did figure we might as well show you the difference between the two. We got the factory 20 RR turbo, which I've heard is bigger than some turbos on the X3s. I don't really know, but some are not. Factory turbo versus an FP green turbo. It's not like crazy difference, but it's definitely, you can kind of see it's necked down here, where this does not have that at all. So I would definitely say the compressor wheel is quite a bit bigger. And then the back side, on the exhaust side, definitely say that my fins are seen a few better days. They look a lot more rounded off out in here than these do. You can kind of see the difference there. So it's definitely not as big and capturing as much exhaust pressure. So yeah, so hopefully she spins a little faster, whistles a little more, and makes a few more wolf howls, and gets me the little oomph that I need in some instances. and pretty big risk here, or I'm not real sure the term for it, but there's a certain Pro R that's getting done that may or may not have a supercharger on it that he's going to get real familiar with seeing the back of this thing through the dust. So yeah, you know who you are. So we'll see what that's about, but pretty confident he's going to get the gap. So we'll see if we can start getting some parts thrown on this thing. Take you guys along. Come on. Alrighty, well, back at another later date. Things keep escalating rather quickly around here, but here we are. Ended up, I pulled the manifold off of it. The factory heat shield had been a piece of junk for a long time. So I got some good old Amazon header wrap. Didn't turn out too bad. I don't know if it's the right thing to do or not, but when I was wrapping this, and I don't like the frayed edges, I guess you'd call it, that you leave when you cut these. Contrary to what people think, silicone don't burn, so I just took a little black silicone, smeared around it to try to clean it up a little bit, and put just a little around the cut edge, and then right where I started it at. So got that all wrapped up, and hopefully that'll help dissipate a little bit of heat. I got a brand new used motor mount for this side that is currently broken, so I have to get that dude swapped out. I got to swap this output shaft with my 300M one because we don't want that, so no good there. I got the drain tube off the turbo put on. I run AN lines for the coolant lines. Got that fitting swapped out. Got that thing all pretty well ready to go into her newfound home. And ordered some fancy dancy Amazon special lights. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like them yet, but we're gonna try them and try to run these as rock lights, because I got these little chintzy junk things down here that kind of work, kind of don't really work. They look okay, but wanting something a little bit different, so we're gonna try these out. I think they were like $30 or $40 for 4 of them, so not too bad. So yeah, we'll start getting the intake or the exhaust manifold thrown back on, maybe the turbo, start getting the motor mount swapped out, and got home yesterday from work and had a couple new packages sitting on the old porch, and ended up getting a couple of big tents for going out riding and whatever. We'll make a little bit of shade and give a couple shout outs to some sponsors and kind of show off the branding a little bit. Ended up getting a couple of them. We had a little bit of a mishap on one of the prints, so part of it's done, part of it's not, but the part of it that I did get, I'll give a big shout out to all the sponsors. Got Crash City, Black Market, Stonecraft, Inflow, L&W Fab, Valor Off-Road Wheels, RPM, Three Hands Fab, Ibex, Warpath, Oxbeam, Zebros, Loose Fuse, and U.S. Defense Solutions. So can't say this enough, guys. Appreciate the hell out of anyone that's helped us out along this journey. And we're gonna keep trying to push her and take her as far as we can go with it. So hopefully one of these days we'll be as big as a few, but for right now we're gonna continue doing what we love, and we're gonna go back to putting this junk back together and see if we can make something happen out of it. Alrighty, well, this thing's been doing a pretty good job of kicking my butt the past couple days. The broken off bolts that were in the motor definitely got my number. The one I think is pretty much a permanent fixture. Easy out broke off, couldn't get the easy out, you know, the whole 9 yards of trying to get bolts out. Got one of them drilled and tapped out, so I think it's gonna rock with two of them on there that actually hold it to the motor, and then it's got 3 that go in the transmission. Just gonna have to be what it's gonna have to be. If it breaks it again, I guess we're gonna be in market for a new lower cradle or a short block, essentially, because one of the tabs that holds the transmission mount broke off the block also. So But in light of changing the motor mount out with putting my 300M output shaft in the motor mount, I did find, we've been wondering what the next weakest link is going to be. And this is the RCV here. RCV 300M output shaft. It hasn't broke yet. It does look like it has some slight foul play occurring in the engagement splines. I know Jeremy has also broken one of these now. You guys can see from the Windrock video when it quit pulling on 71B, he actually broke the coupler that connects the two, and then obviously it stripped this shaft. He was running the turner. He said the spline quality on the turner wasn't quite up to par. Nice way of putting it. Where these and the factory ones are like a press-on spline, or the Turner's one kind of looked like they were a cut spline, so the finish of them wasn't nearly as good as what the press-on spline would be, from the way I understand it from him. But I've got an RCV. He had a Turner fail on the first ride, output shaft. Did take a pretty good lick, but I still think it broke rather easily. I think the Halo 30 would have lived, if that tells you anything. I don't think it was the weak point, but something went on there, and he's got a different brand in it now. I can't remember what the branding is of it. If I know when I edit the video, I'll throw it in here for you guys. I know there's 2 or 3 companies out there that make a different one. But as far as the transmission living on this thing, kind of feel like that's going to be the next weakest link. So if somebody wants to get on the ball and make a bigger, better, badder 4-wheel drive coupling, I know a few guys that are probably going to be needing one. If not, we're going to have to see how creative Jeremy can get for one, because I'm sure if he breaks another one, we're probably going to be investigating that weak link. All fun stuff of trying to push the limits all the time. But I'm going to try and get this motor mount put in here tonight, because like I say, it's been doing a pretty good job of kicking my butt, and see if we can get the turbo and stuff thrown on it, and hopefully set the motor back in where it goes, and then decide whether or not I'm going to attempt to try to do something retarded and go to Black Mountain with like 3 days to go and all new stuff. So we'll see how that goes. If not, the old boss man said probably cruise around him in the old 4-seater, big old 4-seat cheap limo he's got. He's got a chassis that Eric Brown and them supposed to be getting finished up. So we'll see how that plays out in the next few coming days. But if not, we're gonna stay and finish this thing out right and get it all buttoned up. I don't like doing anything half-assed. It always bites me in the butt. Every time I try to rush something and cut a few corners, it never ever goes well for me. Some people have that luck, I do not. But I'd say we're gonna just keep plugging away at this thing and start getting her put back together, hopefully, and see if it'll last a couple more beat downs. So it's definitely not in the greatest of shape of in its old age. Like I say, it's probably going to be working on needing a new engine block solely because of the mounting bolts, or I'm going to have to take the block out and see if I can have somebody weld it up and fix it. Transmission mount's kind of the same way. It's not doing too hot. And see if I can find it here. That is the bolt that came out of the rear transmission mount. So I don't know why everything's so broken. It acts like it gets beat on or something. All we do is ride G-Trails. This stuff's ridiculous. People are going to have to start building some better machines or something. Or I'm going to have to upgrade, maybe go to a Polaris or something. See how that goes. But, all right, let's go get this thing put back together. Come on. Well, figure we give you a little bit of an update here before I go in and go to bed. It's about 11:30 at night, and good old work comes early in the morning. But got a few things done tonight. Nothing super crazy you guys can't figure out if you're watching this video to learn how. It's all pretty straightforward. Got RPMs, intercooler, all mounted together, and fan. Say this is our big intercooler and their fan. Super nice piece. Comes with instructions on everything. It's got some foam padding that goes in on the back side to seal it all off. Super quiet. Plugged it into the old Milwaukee battery. Made sure everything worked and nothing hit like usual, but definitely moves a lot of air. Super quiet. So not that this thing's really ever going to be quiet enough to be hearing the fan, but got a few things thrown on in here. Got that old fancy whirligig in there. She spins real nice. So we got Ibex's intake thrown on there. So fit really nice in there. Kind of cleaned it up a little bit. I'm gonna try and throw this thing outside tomorrow and pressure wash some of the grease and grime off of everything. Got the motor mount kind of fixed. It's got 2 bolts in it. Ended up tapping this one just a little bit right here. Ended up tapping that one out and got the bolt to come out of it. Ended up having to drill and re-tap this. It's now got a 3/8 bolt in it, so it's a little bit bigger, and the bolt was junk and threads were trashed from where it was walking around. And like I say, this tab up here was broke off on the motor, but there was another little spot down here below it that was just kind of like a blank space on the block, so I drilled and tapped that, slotted these holes just a little bit, and maneuvered this bracket a little, and got it to be remounted. Took the side cover off of the spare transmission that I have over there, so it can have all the mounting holes that go in the clutch box now. So, got the injectors thrown in it, some new spark plugs, wastegates all on, got the manifold all wrapped up. Turned out pretty decent, I would say. A lot better looking than that beat up, banged up heat shield that's got 7,000 miles on it. Hopefully it'll kind of do some purpose and keep a little bit of heat out of here. I think I'm gonna C-deck this back firewall when I put it back in together. This go around, try to kill a little bit more heat from inside the cab. It's usually not too bad in here, but figure if we can, might as well. So, got some stuff on the way. And my intercooler is not really in a factory location, but it's kind of factory. It goes up and mounts in this area, so instead of it being flat, it's turned, so the hoses and stuff's a little different. I kind of had some, we'll call it nice words, and not factory or not bolt-on charge tubes. I got on the old Amazon and ordered some elbows and fittings and whatnot, and a bead roller, so I can try to make all of that disaster a little bit nicer this go around. Try to clean everything up as much as I can. So got all these super nice new parts on here. Don't want to throw any used junk back on it if I don't have to. The rest of this thing is junk enough as it is. Try to, stuff I do, I really try to make it as nice as possible when it comes to being custom, I suppose. And most of that stuff in there should stay pretty well intact, so I figure we might as well do it right this go around, and hopefully make her all real nice when it gets done. But so that's probably gonna do it for tonight for me. But for you guys, it's just gonna go to the next clip whenever I start working back on this thing. I think the game plan is to start getting the engine harness put back in it. Decide whether I'm going to Black Mountain or not go to Black Mountain, whether I get the old harness and put back in it, or put the new harness in it and take my time and all that good stuff. Probably going to go the second route there. I really don't want to rush this thing with it being everything's getting changed on it essentially. So I kind of want to do her right and get her fixed up. But I'd say that's pretty decent for today, I suppose. Got the turbo and everything all wrapped up. And we'll start getting the intercooler mocked up in there. I'm sure it's not just going to bolt right in because my old one didn't. But we'll see if we can make something work. Come on. Well, a few days later and a few more dollars spent. Ended up getting a random cheapo think it was an Amazon turbo piping kit. It's like this thing is not mounted in factory location for the intercooler. So I ended up getting a few odds and ends here. I got a boot that's good for like 80 psi or something like that. We're a long ways from that. So I got a boot that goes on there. And then the Amazon kit that I got comes with a bunch of different assortments. Comes with 2 of these, 2 90s, 2 180s, 2 straights. These are some I already cut up. It's got me a inline T for the blow-off valve, and like I say, the Amazon kit came with all these silicone boots. It says it's good for 80 psi. I don't really know about all that, but should be good for the 30 that we're going to throw to it. But if not, it looks like I got a couple spares. So start seeing if we can get a pipe kit fabbed up for this thing, and hopefully get the wiring harness thrown in it. See if we can make this thing make some noise. Come on. One other thing we threw in the old Amazon cart, got us a little bit of a bead roller here. So we got cut off pipe, you should say. We'll get that thing thrown down in there like so. Tighten the jam nut down and give her a couple spins, and end up putting a bead on the end of it, something like that. So it tries to help the boots from blowing off, as you give your clamp something to clamp to back here essentially, and then it won't let that pipe try to separate. So I think it was like another 40 bucks or something like that. Figure it was a pretty good little add-on to trying to make some more horsepower. I don't want any of that air escaping. So see if we can manage to mangle this thing together and get a pipe or two thrown in. Come on. Well, don't mind the new shop. Haven't bought a vise yet, but it's still working. Clamped it to the side of the toolbox. Got me a wrench that fits on there. And just keep cranking her around till she makes a nice bead. So tightened up just a little bit, and on she goes. Alrighty, well, we'll give a little update progress report here. We got the new charge tubes made up in there, so it didn't turn out too bad. I'll put my blow-off valve right next to the throttle body in hopes for trying to keep as much throttle control into it as I can. At least that's my thought process. I don't really know if it works that way, but the theory is as soon as you get out of the throttle, you don't have a whole lot of air space in between there. That way the air can dump out and hopefully get out of the throttle and save parts. But we got intercooler all mounted up in there, so it didn't turn out too bad. It's definitely tight through there, but she does fit and clear and all the good necessary spots. So got a few more things to plumb up, and we'll get the wiring harness in it and start getting the rest of it put back together. So let's go. Well, we're back on another lovely hot Georgia day. It's somewhere in the 90s probably by now. Figured we'd jump on here real quick and show you some more goodies that the old boys from RPM sent over. Got us a brand new shiny catch can. I had one, but it was kind of been around the block, we'll just say that. It came off a race car. The reason it came off a race car, but got a new one from them guys. Hooked us up on that. Got a new titanium primary clutch bolt, new exhaust gasket for the header pipe, and then they sent over this super sweet new air intake. Instead of running that big old crappy looking plastic box down there, they got this super nice carbon elbow. It's got a S&S filter, I believe, on it. It's got a pre-filter, whole 9 yards. So super nice piece. Got a new boot that collects it straight onto the turbo. Got a new shorty clutch cover for the clutch vent on the back of the clutch box. And then the boys from Ibex said that they wanted my clutches because they wanted to get me dialed in for the newfound horsepower, and they took and got my clutches all machined up. Got a new sheave on the outside here. This is the original clutches that came off the old girl, so they've definitely had some miles on them, but them old boys took them in and worked some magic and made them all nice and new again. This is their float mod version. It's got their, like I say, they went through and machined all the surfaces, made everything nice and flat again, and gets rid of all the secondary belt spinning or the alignment issues for Can-Am. I know some of them's real bad about it, some of them's not too bad, but that's with their float mod. It fixes any and all that. It allows the secondary to move in and out freely on the actual splines, so that way it essentially will align itself and try to get a little better belt life and belt temps down. But big shout out to RPM and Ibex on this whole build. Without them, this build would have taken me much longer to progress. They've definitely helped me out a bunch on putting this thing together and making it super clean and trying to give it the best parts that it can get. Try to make it last for that heavy right foot of mine. So super stoked to get this thing, hopefully get close to putting this thing back together today. So I still got to finish that monstrosity because I decided to take the wiring harness apart and move some wires around because my fan's in the back of the car, not the front of the car. Get rid of the DPS, all that smart lock crap, just get rid of all of it. I don't like having all the excess plugs hanging out in there, so I decided to take a little extra time, take the harness apart. Pretty well believe I got it all the way stripped down. Just kind of got to get the looms thrown back on it. And the other thing they sent me, didn't know of, and I guess we weren't made aware of, is the key switches are different from 20 to 22. This is a 6-prong, I think, 5-prong, and mine is only a 4-prong. So we ran into that minor detail, but the boys over at Ibex got me a new OEM key switched out, and they said that they can tune it and make all their fancy voodoo magic from their new custom tunable ECU. So big shout out to those guys. Like I say, this thing would have taken me much longer. It may have never happened for quite a while. Super nice quality parts. So we'll start seeing if we can get some more stuff thrown on it. Let's go. Alrighty, well, we'll give you a little bit of an update here. We've been slowly pecking away at it. A few days later, of course, got all the goodies installed. Got the full Ibex clutch setup put on there. Got the new clutch box. Got the RPM shorty tube in there. Turns out super nice down in there. Makes it all look clean. Fits with the Ibex intake. Got all the charge tubes and everything made up. Blow off valve. Got that sweet looking RPM air intake tube. Like I say, if you guys want to get a hookup on all this stuff, their links are down low in the description. Got some of the wiring harness kind of laid up in it. A few things kind of set up in there. I ended up sticking the flex fuel sensor inside the car here, down in the cockpit area. Got all that kind of still a mess, but slowly getting somewhere with it. So getting closer. And then I decided too, while we were this far in depth with it, if you've ever drove a Can-Am and tried to stop in a hurry, you probably didn't. So we're gonna see if we can fix that. Jeremy over at Three Hands Fab, he's kind of got this pretty much exact same setup in his car, and that thing will smoke the tires at like 50 mile an hour on blacktop. It's crazy how good the brakes are. So hoping I can do the same outcome that he did. Got a wheel wood pedal set up. I was retarded and only ordered one of these when I needed to order two, so I got another one of those coming. But should be a super nice setup. It'll all be hard lined on everything inside of the car, and then it'll have these AN high pressure braided hoses out at the control arm, and then on the trailing arm got the longer ones here. It's all 90-degree fittings. Got these little fancy doodads that hold the brake fitting up super close to the caliper, so that way they're not getting ripped off with sticks and all the other good jazz that we drive through. But super excited about that. This thing has had crap brakes since ever. So, and Jeremy says this is the fix for it. So it's not supposed to fit in here, but hopefully with a little fabrication skills, we can kind of make her fit down in there. It's definitely gonna get a little tight because of the steering orbital. It's kind of in the direct immediate way of where the brake pedal needs to go, but I figure if we try to get this contraption out of here, maybe we can kind of suck it up and over and get it as close as we can in there. Should be able to make something work out of it. If not, we'll keep welding stuff in there and cutting stuff out until she fits. So we'll keep plugging away at it. We got a few more things coming from Ibex. I did learn, for informational purposes, I guess you could call it, the transmission plug is different from a 20 to 22. And you can't just change the sensor. It's actually different inside of the shaft. So I'm still waiting to hear a fix for that and see if that's just as simple as swapping out a couple wires on the plug or what we got to do there. And then totally forgot about it and spaced it, but the 22 has a wideband system in it from factory. So I had to get their factory wiring harness for the wideband, so the Voodoo computer box down here knows what to do with the air fuel ratio, and hopefully keep some piston rings in it. And we'll hopefully get this thing fired up here in a couple days. A couple days out on parts yet, but for you, hopefully it'll be just another couple clips here. But we'll keep plugging away at it, hopefully, and make a few more progress on it. So probably gonna end up being a longer video than what I initially anticipated, but hopefully that's what you guys are here for, and hopefully you're gonna stick around and see if this thing actually runs. So it should be pretty nasty for what I'm told. So a 30-pound boost mark probably gonna be pretty crazy compared to what I'm used to. I think it was around the tired-ish 19 beforehand, and that was pushing it on a good day. So hopefully start getting some more progress made up here and get this thing put back together. And then we do have another thing in store for it here later that's gonna make it look a little less clapped or more. I'm not really sure. We'll see how it goes, but should be pretty interesting when we get it all done. So let's go. Well, good thing to always do once you get everything put together and checked out. I got me a homemade, made up, real custom air pressure piece here. You can buy one of these that are much nicer, but this thing was free, so can't really complain. But basically you pump air into the inlet side of the turbo, and then take you some soap or soapy water, or I had some Simple Green laying there, worked good. And you just take and spray it around all your connections. And you see I got just a small little bubble coming out right there, so I'll probably try to tighten that dude up just a little bit more. But say go through and spray all your connections down, your hose for your blow off, down around your intake and everything. And say I got about 40 pounds of air in it right now, so holding pretty good. I think it's only gonna build 30, so I put 40 in it just to kind of be safe. But other than that little bit of bubble coming right there out of that sensor, I believe she's all good. But something that small you probably never even noticed. But when I started, I had this bottom V-band here that I forgot to tighten up all the way, so I had a little bit of leak in there. But I say always a good thing to check. You got air leaking out of there, you're leaking horsepower. So turbo's having to work harder than it needs to. So you say you can pick one of them pieces up that's a little nicer than the one I got, but like I say, that one was free, so worked good enough for me. But get a few more things wrapped up here and see if we can get some more parts on it. Got to order a different brake pedal setup than what you guys seen earlier, but take another couple dollars and a couple more days in parts, and hopefully get this thing put back together. I'm sure I'm sounding like a broken record at this point, but a lot of lists, or big list, and a lot of stuff to finish up yet, but she's definitely getting closer. So see what we got. Let's go. Alrighty. Well, I know this video is dragging, but it ain't from lack of trying, because we've been working on this thing a lot of hours, but we're finally getting somewhere. I figure we give you another little update as we go through it. Hopefully you guys are still watching and finding it interesting, because it has made me scratch my head quite a few times. I was a pretty big idiot and had a simple mistake in the wiring harness. Turns out I didn't have the computer plugged in all the way, because I don't have a factory firewall, so I had to mount the computer while I had it mounted not the way it looked like it went. So the plugs didn't sit all the way in. They were like 1/8 of an inch from fitting. So I had a couple days in trying to figure out why the thing wouldn't start. Ibex got the tune and everything uploaded in it, so it's good right now for 91 and 93 octane. It ain't quite ready to go to E85 yet. They want to do some data logs and stuff on that, but he's got a real good base tune for 91 and 93. He told me if we're going to be running E85 and going to be pushing it hard, he wanted to put a different fuel pump in it. So we just got that all wrapped up. Pretty straightforward, just swapping the intake pump out. And then it does have a wiring pigtail that puts a relay in it. It does some voodoo magic. I'm not real sure what it does, but it needs to go in there. So they come with a new wiring harness and a big fuel pump for it. Got some of the wires laid up in here. Big thing I'm super excited about that this thing has been garbage for years, and from factory, the brakes in an X3, if you have never driven one, they suck. So got a Willwood dual master cylinder brake pedal in there. Got everything all mounted up. Ross sent me some new 90-degree fittings for the steering orbital so I could get the lines all kind of tucked down in there. But made me up a mount and put this Willwood brake pedal in it. Jeremy's running the same one, and his stuff will lock up and smoke tires at like 60 miles an hour on the interstate. So it's got brakes, and I got the pretty much exact same setup he does. So super excited to have actual brakes now. For anyone that says you got to do big brake kit and all this fancy stuff, I've drove Jeremy's car, has great brakes. It has factory OEM calipers on it. There's an OEM caliper, OEM rotors, and OEM pads. Nothing super crazy. Just get rid of all the factory junk lines that come in it. Got some upgraded AN lines from, I think, Summit or Jegs, one of the two. Got some fittings down there for the calipers to convert everything over to AN style lines. Did the same thing out the back there. So they say it's all factory calipers down in there. It's got a flex line that runs into the car, and then it goes to a T right here in the seat. Does that on both sides. We got me a hard line runs up the side of the chassis here and up there to the master cylinder. Super simple, straightforward. So I believe, other than UPS absolutely sucking, because I had one harness that I'm missing to make the thing run really well. It runs now, but it's kind of hesitant and idle, or kind of goes all over the place because it doesn't have an O2 sensor / wideband in it right now. But it does start and run, so that was a big plus. But we're gonna get the rest of this stuff tidied up, cleaned up, get the dash panels all put back in it. You know, we had to keep the speaker because it's a trail car. We ain't got no fancy chassis that got to have a radio in it. So it's got a couple speakers in the old girl. Got one more to throw back in it. But hopefully start getting this thing put back together. And then we're going to see if Mother Nature is going to cooperate out there. And see if we can take it around the old neighborhood and maybe aggravate a Karen or two. We'll see how she goes. But getting super close to hopefully having this thing buttoned up and let you guys check it out. There is a wiring harness that's in the garage, but it's not really mine, but it may get borrowed, as you could say, off the boss man's 4-seater to make this junk run, because I'm getting real close to needing that. So sorry, Rob, but you might be donating to the cause, at least till I get a new harness in. But we'll start getting some panels put back in it and go from there. I'm getting real close to it, but burn out at the same time. I'm ready to get this pile of junk done so we can go to Ride for a Cure for Indian Mountain. I'm not sure how that's going to go, but I know there's going to be some big names down there, and a couple new big name hills that have not been climbed, and we're gonna hopefully see if we can make that happen, because Tuesday, these here, no more. G-Force on the way. So he's getting the works at G-Force. Some old boys over there has got stuff figured out, and we're gonna get it put on this thing and hopefully start making a dent in some of these big name hills that are left on my top priority list. So let's go. Alrighty, well, another late night in the old garage. I got old girl finally pretty well wrapped up, waiting on a finalized tune. They got to go over a couple data logs in it and get that uploaded. But the only thing I got left to do is get the seat thrown in it. Like I say, I got to upload the tune to it. Got to get a couple pop rivets to finish out the little back door compartment there I made to access to the turbo without having to tear the back firewall issue out. Put some C-deck on there to try to kill some of the heat that's right behind there. Got the center console thrown back in it. And old Junior got the tires swapped out for me. I put the old 32-inch cut Zillas on there. Other than that, she's pretty well ready to go to G-Force. We'll probably get over there, maybe see if we're going to throw a clip or two in from there. If not, we'll hopefully throw a clip in or two of the old girl finally ripping. I drove it around the house the other day. Runs pretty decent. It's got a few tuning things. I want to have them change and go over, and we got the fuel pump and everything put in it, so it's ready and good to go on E85 now if necessary. It'll be at right about 30 pounds of boost, so should be a pretty good ripper when we get it all finished up. But that's pretty well it. Took a lot longer than I originally anticipated, but fixed a whole lot of things that's been kind of wrong for a long time. Cleaned up a bunch of wiring mess in this thing. It's always kind of been last minute, so kind of took my time and finished up some of that stuff. But that's going to be about it. A big shout out to Ibex and RPM again. They are super huge help on getting this car put back together. I've been on the phone with Ibex quite a bit. Cannot say enough about those guys. Customer support was great. They always have answers to questions that I ask, so appreciate the hell out of it from them. Be sure and stay tuned. We're going to ride for a cure at Indian Mountain if all goes as planned, and see what we get into over there. There'll be quite a few of them hill killing boys over there, so we're gonna go see if we can play around and maybe try to tame a couple of the big ones over there. We've been there once before and had pretty decent luck. We'll see what we get into on the next trip. Appreciate the hell out of it. Let's go.